welcome back from the break. You're watching Future Proof, and going into the breaks you saw the showreel Me made for me, talking about how we can basically earn more money. And what I'm talking about is whatever our currency is. So whether that's money, whether that's wanting to spend more time with family, whatever it is, emotional intelligence will help you have more of it. Hello and welcome back to Future Proof, where we're looking at business sense and emotional intelligence and how to future proof business and also to empower students coming out of school and also education, and just look at the power of emotional intelligence and how it fits in the workplace. And I'm delighted to say that I have Me Elverson with me, and thank you for joining me for the second half, Me. It's just wonderful that you're here. And in the first half, Me was talking about her business, her vlog academy, and also iStorm, which is a program that she set up for women. And you can find all of her details on her website, which is
blogacademy.com.
So do search her out. So in this second half, Me, if it's okay, I wanted to really focus more on iStorm. It is for women in particular, but I'm very, very, very interested in the emotional intelligence side of it. You've already said that, you know, video evidencing, whatever that is very much the future for business, and for people personally, actually. You know, CVs are now videoed, dating sites, there's videos, you know, it's whatever our lives are. But I love the fact that the key word for you through and through is authenticity. Could you say more about that?
Absolutely. I mean, even just looking at the trends for 2019 on social media, it's a lot about personal storytelling, even for people who are looking to place themselves in a leadership role. And it's two things. It's both that going out there as a person, as yourself, sharing information, creates credibility and trust, because we trust a human being talking more than reading a document that someone has written about something. So that's one really crucial part that works. And the other part is that we don't have to sell in the same way as you would do on television, for example, where you have a commercial break, and that's when everyone goes to the loo or puts on the kettle. So on social media, we need to revert that to the opposite, really. We can't be the commercial break. We actually need to be the program, the storytelling part, the informative, entertaining, the educational part. And this is the beauty of being a solopreneur, even, or even if you have a large team, that people can actually just share stories, success stories, obviously it would mainly be as a brand or a business, and show how their company has allowed for people to transform, or how their clients have been helped by their services or products. So this is why it works so well for women as well. And I think that there's a larger part of women who don't like selling. We don't like going out there holding up something and say, buy this now. Whereas men are a little bit better at doing that. They are better at doing quicker deals and quick kills, if you like. Whereas women, they are more used to sharing stories and building up a connection through storytelling. We've always done that, so we're born to do that. And that's why it works so well for women to create videos where they can do a long-term connection process with their audience instead.
So, you know, I've seen women in the workplace for many, many years, and of course you always get the ones that are confident and able to do the ask. So I think you're talking sort of generically that generally speaking, women find it harder. Are you saying that is just because of the nurture that people say is in our system, or do you think it is particularly, for example, the Western culture that women don't like to do the ask, or why do you think women have historically found it, generally speaking, hard to, it's basically ask for the buy, isn't it? They're quite good at promoting, but it's what we call pushing it over the line. Why do you think they have found that difficult?
Well, I go back all the way in history to the beginning of the human tribal setup, really, where women were the ones who were at home around the campfire looking after the children, and the men went out hunting, and the man's job was to do that quick kill as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, to provide the dinner for the family, right? For the whole tribe possibly. And women organized, they cooked, they looked after the children, and we also told the children stories, and they often had a moral ending or moral core to them, which was their way of schooling and educating the children. So it could be teaching them about medicine or cooking or even hunting. Maybe there were a lot of stories from the men coming back from the hunts, and those quick kills that we talked about, sharing that with the children to learn. So that's why I believe over a long time women have had this position of being a more a long term. You need to actually find the trust in a different way rather than just make a quick sale, and they need to know that they can trust the salesperson before they buy something.
So in a way, with that history, they're in quite a good position for the authenticity, because with the storytelling and the nurture and what have you, a mother like in that format has no desire or reason to mislead, if you like, their children and what have you. So in a way, they can start the road or hit the road running in your program, because what you're trying to do then is to go into those links of authenticity, and actually, rather than let them sort of nurture or sit around at the bottom of the pond, if you like, to bring them up to the surface. I want to hear more about that authenticity, but just before, I just want to say about trust. You know, trust is so important, and you're right, you know, in the eyes and also facial expressions, people can take some measure of trust watching somebody speak. But equally, I think people have been burnt so many times where perhaps one or two videos or watching somebody once or twice might be a persuasion of trust. Very often now people like to wait and watch you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and then they go, actually, I am now happy. So I think there's a longer period of time of suspension where people are still making up their minds.
I think they're slightly different scenarios depending on if it's a product or if it's a service. I mean, I'm a fool when it comes to those really short 30-second Facebook ads for a new invention or a product. It's so easy to click that button and it's arriving the next day.
Yes, I do the same. So, can you tell me, how do you teach authenticity?
That's a good question. You can't really teach authenticity as such, I don't think, but you can teach how to be more authentic, obviously. So it's more a matter of relaxing into your true self. In my case, when I teach my clients, so you need to really just feel that you're talking from a more where you're in line with your own core values, which is important if you're a personal brand or if you run your own business. And you need to make sure, obviously, that your core values are aligned with your brand, because then it's going to be easier to talk about it and wake up in the morning and feel proud of what you do and want to carry on with it. But you also need to feel that you are in a more conversational mode, because when we put that scripted, more corporate tone on, that's when people feel that it's something that is not quite natural in there. And people are very quick to see in video and on TV when people aren't natural, when there is some sort of a discrepancy some way between the mind and the mouth and the heart, if you like. So that actually helps and supports the trust and credibility a lot. Being yourself, trying to be relaxed, not trying to copy someone else, and only talking to one person as well, not to the whole world in one go.
So earlier you talked about blogging or writing, and that trust is gained better from video. And I think, you know, if I had a last thought on it, it is that video captures more evidence, and so the viewer can look at words that are being used, look at tone and intonation, look at body language, and they can look to see if in their understanding those things are aligned. And if they're not aligned, so if somebody is pretending, trying to copy, be like somebody else, sound like somebody else, then the viewer will pick up that lack of authenticity. So if you had one little bit of advice for somebody aspiring to do a bit of vlogging or getting themselves out there, what's the 1 or 2 keywords, literally in 10 seconds?
I think the most important thing is to remember to talk to one person only. not the whole world, because that's when that more natural tone will appear. And then practice, practice, practice.
Thank you very much for joining me. And I support that, because so many people think there could be loads of people watching, where evidence shows us that actually there's usually just one person, maybe two, that is watching a video at any one time. Gone are the days of lounges full of people. Thank you very much
It's been
indeed,
such a
May.
pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.